So as a teenager or a college student, you might think that it's difficult to go out there and get a side hustle based on a lack of skill or credibility. But the truth is, you're actually going to learn a lot of life skills from your teenage and potential college side hustles. So as a teenager or college student, the advantage that you have in front of you is that you are young and healthy and most likely in the peak shape of your life. So the theme here of these side hustles is going to be doing the hard work that others don't want to. Now look, not every side hustle is going to require manual labor, but I just wanted to call that out early on because that's what's going to help you get around maybe not having a skill set right now, is being willing to go hard and do the work. So that being said, guys, let's jump into the very first side hustle. Alrighty guys, so not surprisingly, if you followed me in the past, one of my favorite side hustles out there is starting a landscaping business. Now, when you hear landscaping, a lot of people just think mowing lawns. However, there's actually a lot more to it. This can also include weed whacking, trimming hedges, using mulch, and adding sod to properties, and all sorts of different things. Now, while I do recommend starting small and simply clipping grass, you can expand to offer more services that you can actually charge more money for once you get your initial customers. But here's the problem. Maybe you don't know how to do landscaping. If that's the case, then my recommendation to you is to spend one summer working for a landscaper. That is because they're going to teach you everything you need to know about the landscaping business. You can learn the ins and outs, and then 1 year later, or maybe even sooner, depending if you have winter in your area, you could start your very own landscaping business. And with this, I would really just recommend starting small, getting a couple of clients, and then really relying on word of mouth to grow that business. And in fact, this is exactly what I did when I was a teenager. This was the very first side hustle that I started, which was a summer lawn mowing business. I simply borrowed my dad's push mower that was sitting there in the shed, made up flyers, went around my neighborhood, and ended up with 2 clients by the end of the week. However, there was a big problem. That was the fact that I was extremely lazy and I did a terrible job at that business. In that one summer, I managed to launch the business, grow it to multiple clients, and then destroy the business by the end of the summer, having every single one of my clients pretty much fire me. And that's, of course, when I learned one of my very first important lessons about business, which also includes side hustles, and that is that you can't be lazy in business. Okay, time for something exciting. I've been somewhat secretly working on the biggest project of my entire life for almost an entire year now, and for the very first time, I'm ready to announce it right now. At the end of last year, around Thanksgiving, I was approached by one of the biggest publishers in the world about putting together a publication that was essentially the side hustle guidebook, showing somebody how to start a side hustle and then potentially scale it up to a main hustle where they quit their job, and then even scaling up to becoming a millionaire, which is something I've done myself with my content-based side hustles. So I did it, and it really did take me about a year. I'm talking about over 1,000 hours of not only my time, but also my editors, and we now have the finished piece, which is slated for release in January of 2023. From side hustle to main hustle to millionaire by myself, Ryan Scribner, is available for pre-order right now. And coincidentally, chapter 1 is all about that childhood lawn mowing business and the lessons learned about why you can't be lazy in business. The book is set up as a series of experiences that happened in my life and then the lessons that followed, and every single chapter ends with a key points summary reinforcing the most important lessons. When I started this project over a year ago, my goal here was to put something together that simply did not exist before, and I feel that I have truly done this with this publication. This is the single most important thing that I feel I have ever worked on in my entire life, and I cannot wait to share this with you guys. If you're ready to pre-order a copy, the link is on my shirt. Go to sidehustlebook.info, or it's all going to be linked up down in the description description below. Simply visit that link, scroll down, and then you can pre-order this book across multiple book retailers. That way, you will be among the very first to get your hands on it this coming January. And of course, none of this would be possible without you yourself as a viewer of my channel. So thank you for everything that you have made possible in my life, and I cannot wait to contribute to your life and help you do something like I have done here myself. Okay guys, that's it for my spiel. I have nothing else in this video to sell you, no affiliates, so thank you for being patient. Number 2, the next side hustle on the list here is getting into the skill of coding. If you love computers and video games and you tend to be one of those people that just cannot get out from behind a screen, well, maybe it's time to consider that as a career or even side hustle path. And what's cool about this skill is that it can be completely free to learn. You see, back in the day, if you wanted to learn about programming and coding, you had to get an associate's degree in computer programming. However, what happened is as new programming languages came out so quickly, the traditional way of learning coding was just not fast enough. So now there are streamlined code schools available all across the internet, most of which are actually free. For example, if you check out Code Academy, and this is just a website I found myself, I'm not affiliated with them or anything, but you simply take a short quiz and they will help pair you with a coding language and career path for free. So they're going to help you understand, based on your personality and interests, which coding language is the best for you to learn, and then they're going to give you the resources to learn it. And the demand for this service and skill is only expected to grow with time, with the further digitization of our lives. Also, not to mention, while this could be a fantastic side hustle where you could charge hundreds of dollars per hour, this can also be a fantastic career path as well. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, the median salary in the United States for a computer programmer in 2020 was $89,190. Not to mention, you could potentially earn that much money with $0 in student debt by learning these skills online. So I will leave you with this. If you want to get rich, learn coding. Coming in at number 3, let's get back into physical real-world businesses. And yes, although I have grown my wealth and following online, my book does cover both real-world and digital side hustles. A lot of people are introverted or don't necessarily want to make content, so a lot of it is geared towards these very important real-world side hustles. So let's talk about idea number 3, a school t-shirt business, but how you can do things a bit differently. Now, just to be clear, I'm not talking about putting your school mascot or things like that on a shirt and selling it, because that might actually be against the rules of your school. Instead, I'm thinking about more out-of-the-box ideas with high level of customization. So just for a few ideas here, one thing you could do is offer promposal shirts. Like, for example, around prom season, if everybody is looking to do these extravagant proposals and they have to make up shirts just like the one I'm wearing right here, that is a service you could offer through your custom school t-shirt business. Other options you have are getting into any clubs or specific interests and maybe offering to make them shirts. But if you do end up doing that, I would honestly approach the school and make sure you have proper permission, because you can get in trouble for operating a business at school. And I'm saying that from personal experience. I've actually done that myself. But I'm talking more so on the customization side and potentially doing these deals outside of school, just making important connections at school. And then obviously where people see the shirts, they're going to want to get their own and they're going to approach you. If you're in college, there's probably less restrictions about selling shirts. So I think you would have a much better success rate doing it there and not potentially getting in trouble. Okay, so we have now covered landscaping, which is really hard work, and then coding, which is another type of really hard work, just in a different sense. Learning an entire coding language, and even operating an entire physical t-shirt business could also be a lot of physical work. Now we're going to talk about more digital-based side hustles that are still possible for teens if you don't necessarily want to be physically working hard out in the real world. Okay, so number 4 on the list here is being a social media influencer. Now, of course, this was a much better opportunity way back in 2016 when I started doing this, but there still is the opportunity here to make your presence known online. And it's really been funny to see this transition because when I was a kid, which was not too long ago in the early 2000s, everybody wanted to be a rock star or a musician. And now if you talk to younger kids today, most of them say, I want to be an influencer. So it's almost like being a rock star has now turned into wanting the same type of fame, just in a different way. But social media is, of course, very crowded today with all of the people trying to do the same exact thing. So the question becomes, how do you actually stand out? Well, what I recommend doing, and I also talk about it in my book, is creating content documenting the process of one of your business ideas or potentially your personal interest as well. And so when you take something that you're already interested in and then build content around it, it's really easy to get people to care about your content. Where I think people go wrong with social media, especially trying to be an influencer, is just aiming to be the funny person or the guy doing the craziest stuff on YouTube. That's going to be really difficult because there's just so many people doing that. Also, what I would recommend doing is focusing in on the specific platforms where you have the advantage. So, for example, if you are a teenager watching this video, you're most likely a member of Gen Z. And so your best bet is vertical video. Odds are that's what you're mostly consuming on a day-to-day basis, and truth be told, nobody is better at creating this vertical video content than Gen Z themselves. And having personally posted thousands of pieces of content across all sorts of different social media platforms, my biggest piece of advice here for you is that you shouldn't try to win social media. You should instead have this goal of trying to learn about social media and these algorithms and just how it works. Because truth be told, you're never going to win any one big platform, because even if you do, the algorithm might change, and it will change. And then even if you do win that platform might not and most likely will not be the most popular platform in 10 or 20 years. So if you instead have this goal of just trying to learn social media and then, jumping from platform to platform, that is really how you capitalize on all of these new platforms and this diversification of attention across all of these different places. But of course, eyeballs alone do not make you money. So how do you make money as an influencer? Well, you have to have something at the end of the day that you are selling. So let me give you a perfect example of this here using one of my cousins who is in college. He's a member of Gen Z, and he has successfully launched a rap career using vertical video, in particular TikTok. So my cousin did all sorts of different experiments for over a year using TikTok. I'm talking about creating all sorts of different accounts and using all of these different strategies to promote his own music. And in the process, he has grown his music page, which is ZE66Y, to an astounding 225,000 monthly listeners on Spotify. Now look, my point here isn't telling you to go follow him. I mean, if you want to check out his music, go ahead. It is really good. But what I'm trying to show you here is how you can literally use social media and then figure out the right angles to springboard yourself to success. And my cousin Zeb took advantage of all sorts of different strategies, but one of them in particular that he was telling me is that he would make a new TikTok account every single week and simply take advantage of the boost that you get early on, and then as soon as his engagement dropped off, he would delete that account and start over. So I will leave you with that tip, as that may still be practical today. Okay, coming in at number 5 here is something that I do myself, or it's involved with my other businesses really, and that is AI YouTube channels. So imagine making a YouTube channel, putting it on autopilot, raking in ad revenue, and then maybe even affiliate revenue with somebody else even potentially doing the entire operation. That of course is the long-term goal of an AI YouTube channel, but to get there you do have to build it up. I actually just did a full 1-hour video showing you guys step by step how we do these AI YouTube channels and make money from ads and affiliates in the process across multiple of my digital businesses. So I will put a card up in the corner for that, but we will go ahead and do a quick elevator pitch explanation of AI YouTube channels. Well, at the beginning of this year, after creating over 1,000 YouTube videos across all sorts of different channels, I was presenting myself with the challenge here of figuring out how to produce content without using actors, without using myself, and in the cheapest and easiest manner possible. In doing so, I came across some really cool AI voice software that allows you to create narrations by typing in text. So now what we do is we take many of our existing articles from our website, use that text, turn it into videos to basically double down on the search traffic opportunity. Now, in my full video on AI channels, we actually did 2 real examples of making AI videos on the spot. They each took about 10 minutes to make, and then one of the videos in the first few days made about 67 cents in ad revenue. Now, I know that may not sound like a lot, but you have to understand that the goal with an AI channel is a volume-based play where you ideally have hundreds, if not thousands of videos built up over time. So think about it this way. If that video made $2 per month, which was based on the current trajectory, that is about $24 per year from one video that took 10 minutes to make. Well, if you made 10 videos and they all did exactly the same, you could make 20 bucks a month. 100 videos, now you're talking 200 a month, and 1,000 videos, maybe you're making $2,000 per month. So that's the way you want to think about an AI channel, is having hundreds, if not thousands of short videos versus a couple of big winners. So check out the card in the corner if you want to learn more about that side hustle. All right, finally, number 6 on the list here is proofreading. And this is one of my favorite opportunities for college students in particular, but it's also super relevant for juniors and seniors. Well, towards the end of high school, a lot of us start preparing many of these important pieces of documentation that we're going to need for our adult lives. This includes things like resumes as well as college essays. Well, if you enjoy reading and writing and you're good at proofreading, this could be a fantastic business opportunity with multiple different services. For one thing, you could offer a simple grammatical proofreading for people of their existing college essays or resumes. You could also offer a service where you help people put these things together, and you could also offer a service where you take somebody's resume and you help them with making improvements to the actual flow of the writing. Now, of course, you will have to familiarize yourself with grammar standards and certain things like that, but once you have this skill set, it's something that you can use over and over and over again. So what I would recommend doing is offering basically this proofreading service, and that's what gets people in the door, and then probably by the time you get your hands on the resume or the cover letter or the college essay, if it's really bad, that's when you upsell them to your service where you help them put together a much better version. And for that, I would say a starting price would be at least $100 up to $250 for a resume. And then once you build up a portfolio and you have some past experience and you can say, hey, I help people get jobs with my resumes, you can just start charging more and more. Or if your college essays get people into college, you can just continue charging more and more for that service. Okay, guys, so that's the end of the video. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you made it to the very end, be sure to drop a like and leave me a comment down below letting me know what you think of these college and teenage side hustle ideas. If you're ready to take this journey a bit more seriously, go ahead and pre-order my book today, From Side Hustle to Main Hustle to Millionaire. The link, once again, is on my shirt, sidehustlebook.info. It's also the very top link down below. You can order it and pre-order across all major retailers that sell books right now, and then you simply do it once, and in January, there's your accountability step. The book's gonna show up in the mail, and I'm gonna show you how to launch your next side hustle. Anyways, guys, that's all for now. Thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe to stay tuned for the next video, and as always, I hope to see you in the next one.